What's going on, everyone? Joe Fucarino in the house, in the studio. We are here, all right, Jersey Media Podcast with Ginger.
Hello.
Yo, it is so dope to have her back. Yo, Ginger is on my top favorite people in the world. Like, seriously. Top 25, easily. Top 25, yo. For real. You are super, super dope. I love every time I connect with you. You know what I mean? Like, just for real, I want to let you know that. Like, every time I connect, you be going through, like, your things sometimes like, you know, I'm not going to be on social media. And I'd be sad. You know, she takes away her Instagram because it's like pure motivation, always in the gym, everything. So just want you to know that every time you are active and we stay in communication, it makes Joe feel better.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad you're here.
I mean, I feel like even if I'm not on social media, like the people that matter have my number.
Exactly. You know, I'll be
reach out
texting
to me
you.
every
Yeah.
time.
I'm like, yo, where you at?
I appreciate it.
Nah, no problem, yo. So what you been up to?
Oh my gosh. I hate that question.
Damn. Restart. Nah,
No.
for real. What you been doing?
What?
Like,
Okay.
not in general. I just maybe this weekend. What's today? What are we at? Today is Thursday.
It is 11/11.
It is?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. That's fire. See, and the fact that we're linking up, that's just fire. Look at that. See, the world's working mysterious
I didn't
ways.
even know the date. I had to look this morning because I wrote in my journal. But I mean, if you want to talk recent, I was just in Texas for a conference. When was that? This weekend. I think I said that. Yeah.
How was that?
That was amazing.
Boy, what type of conference was it?
It was a women's conference.
Okay.
So I've been following Sarah Jakes Roberts for I don't even know how many years now. It's actually TD Jakes' daughter, but she has her own platform called Women Evolve, and she's been doing her own conference so she started in 2018. So this was the third one in person because of COVID, and I've been at every single one.
That's fire.
And it's that space that you come and you get like recharge. Like her energy is off the charts. Like she is definitely like a pastor, but she's kind of gangster with it.
Okay.
So
you should send me her.
Yes, like it just resonates with me.
I love that because like one of the my favorite is obviously E.T. You know, like
yes.
I love his sermons and stuff, and that's fire. Question: were you always religious? Did you always have strong faith?
Yeah.
Always, right?
I was raised in a Christian home, but I went to Christian school my whole life too. But I didn't really take my faith seriously until college, which I feel like is kind of normal, especially for people that grew up in religious homes, because I feel like you need that time to like figure out like, am I doing faith because my parents showed me this, or is this like really for my life? What fits best for me? So in college, I definitely tried to do my own thing and it didn't work out. And then I got serious about my faith, and it's definitely like I think the word is integral. It's integral.
So why though? Why? Like, you don't have to get too deep with it if you don't want to, but why did that happen?
Why did what happen?
Like, why did your faith increase? Why did you tap in like seriously to your faith?
All right. So, I've always wanted to be in a relationship. I saw this post or something. I think it was like, all this hooking up stuff is not for me. Like, I want real love. And like, that's always who I've been. And so my junior year, junior year of college, I was in a relationship and I was like so happy. Like, me and this guy's family got along, and I thought that this was it, because I always think that this is it, and it's never it. But anyway, yeah, and we ended up breaking up, but not in a good way.
Okay.
Like, long story short, I found out that he was like lying and hiding stuff from me, and I was just like heartbroken, and I still wanted to like try to make it work, but he wasn't with it, and so I was just like, yeah, like this is a dub. And it was really painful for me because I really love this guy. Like, when I look back over my relationship history, I feel like there's my first love, who it was just like a silly high school type of, was I in high school? Yeah, I was a freshman in high school. I just finished 8th grade when I met him. So that was like my first love. And then there's this guy that I feel like I really loved him. And then there's my daughter's father, which is like a category of his own because I actually like married him. Anyways. Yeah. But so when I went through this breakup with this guy who I actually really loved, it was really painful.
Yeah.
And I just needed I needed to process that pain in a healthy way. And I used my faith to help me get through it. Like, I literally would play worship music to help me go to sleep because it it was a real heartbreak, you know, and I saw how I was able to come up out of that situation encouraged and better, and how I had my peace restored.
Through the faith.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna take this seriously, and I've just been like going deeper with it, getting more disciplined with it.
Now, what do you think was that caveat that made you really choose that? Because in that moment of heartbreak and all that, like you could have faith. Yeah.
Wow, I could have had a, what do we call it? I don't even know. I could have like been like
hot girl summer.
Yes, I could have had my hot girl summer before hot girl summer was a thing. I could have like been like, yo, pass me the bottle, or like let me hit that, like, you know, like there's
what was
so
that?
many,
what was that switch?
I think it was the foundation that I had from an early age of like when we have hard times, like, because I always felt like a lot of that stuff, the alternatives that we see people go to, whether it be like sex or drugs or self-harm or like alcohol, whatever it is, because we all have our thing.
Yeah, we all have our vice.
Those are all like coping mechanisms. But especially as a nurse, you see like the long-term effects of some of these coping mechanisms. And I think I'm fortunate enough to have the presence of mind to like process things like, all right, like if I take up this drink, what might it lead to? And I heard this quote and it was like, don't pick up habits that you see other people trying to quit, which I heard that after the fact. But yeah, like I was like, okay, I'm in pain, but I also know that pain doesn't last forever. And I just trusted that my faith, because faith is faith. Like, you know, you can't, there's no science to it. There's no guarantees, but you believe that it's going to get you through it. And it did. And so I also think that's part of building trust with God, is because people will say like, I don't trust God, or like, I don't know if God really got me like that. But I think people need to remember that like just the same way that we build our relationship and we grow in trust with each other, we can approach God like that too. Like 100%. God is not necessarily being like, you need to trust me right now. Like if you need to like mosey on into your trust,
the journey. It's a journey.
Like,
faith is a journey.
Exactly.
It's not like, I'm very similar. Like I was raised actually Catholic, but I was never interested in it. You know, I was like, okay, I was a believer, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I always was, but on a very surface level, you know, very, very surface level. And that was about it. Never tapped in. I never at the time, I mean, I know I was looking back at it now, but I was never shown like any reason to believe, like really believe.
Yeah.
Like to be 100% honest, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you heard this and that was what you heard. That was cool. Right. You know, you whatever. But I didn't have anything like tangible things or even be able to process a lot of that until I was an adult, you know, until like, honestly, you know, what was a really big caveat for that was E.T.
Yeah.
You know, E.T. was a huge, you know, like obviously as you get older too, you know, you start going through things in life and you start, you know, maybe trying to believe a little bit more. But at the same time too, though, I still was kind of like almost like, nah, because things were getting worse in life and things were just happening. So my faith wasn't there. You know, it was always that question mark of like, is this not even if it's even real, or it's just like, you're not even by my side. Like, what, did you forget about me? Did you know what I mean? Like all those questions, you know? And I will say E.T., fucking between E.T. and Inky, those two gentlemen, those two speakers changed my entire life.
Yeah.
My entire life based on faith. You know what I mean? Like not even their motivational and all that. Like that's great. I love that. But them breaking down and for me being able to see faith the way I see it now is really because of those gentlemen. Yeah.
Like as you're talking, I'm just thinking about how like faith, like finding that faith mentor. Is that how you say it? Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say pastor because it doesn't always necessarily have to be a pastor, but
correct, yeah.
Finding that person that can mentor you spiritually, finding that therapist, finding that significant other, it's all a process and you have to find the right person for you. Because like even with right now, I don't have a home church. I grew up going to church in Brooklyn and I grew up going to Christian Cultural Center and I would love to go there, but it's just really out of the way. And I'm trying to find something closer to home or even in New Jersey, but it takes time. Like the same way I started with one therapist and it wasn't a good fit. So I had to find another. I dated this guy and didn't work out, so I had to find another. Is the same way that I treat my faith. Like, I've been able to find people that I can understand and that I can grow from. And that's so important because, you know, like, one person can be saying great stuff, but it just doesn't resonate with you, or it's not in a way that you can like process it. And so it is important to find those people, and they are out there.
Yeah, you just gotta find, like, you know, with me, like I used to go to church all the time. You know, with I went to a CCD program or whatever. You know, I never even know what it was. It did not resonate with me. You know what I mean? Like, it not at all. They probably were saying in some of those, you know, whatever lecture, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the right word. I'm not super educated on it. Whatever you want to call it. They probably said a lot of the same stories, you know, that even like E.T. brings up or whatever. Like, even some of them, you know, he brings them up, and I'm like, okay, I've heard a little bit of that, but I never even got it like to where I could understand it until them. So yeah, that's just totally right.
Yeah, and then with faith, it is a journey. So there's levels to it, you know. In one season, you might hear and get one thing, and then in the same season, you might hear the same story or verse or whatever again, and you might understand it in a new perspective, in a new way. So it definitely takes persistence. Like, I guess most of the good things in life do.
Yeah, it's literally a journey, you know. And I've actually been interested in the same thing, like finding a church, because I've never had, you know, a church that I actually wanted to go to, just to be very real. You know what I mean? Like I said, E.T. and all them was the birth of that. And then for me, it's like I watch all their, you know, the lives, the sermons, the APOC and all that stuff. And that's as far as I get, because I've heard of great ones, but they're always just like, for me, I'm not gonna make it. It's too far. You know, like you said, it's just Brooklyn or like Irvington, you know, just some places far that I know I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, nothing locally, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that, because I was serving at a local youth group this past several months. I started in November, I think, and then I just recently stepped away from that church because they decided to enforce that they want their volunteers to be members, which is fine, but I wasn't told that going into it, and I never intended to be a member. And it was crazy because this church is literally like not even 10 minutes from my house, but I would rather drive in over an hour to Brooklyn than go to this church that's not even 10 minutes from my house, because I literally feel like I love Sundays. Like, I watch church for hours, okay? Like, especially with the pandemic and like virtual church, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start with this church and then I'm gonna tune into this service. Like, I watch church all day on Sunday.
Word.
But if I don't have that excitement about Sundays in church, I'm just like, I don't, like, it has to be there.
You have to feel it. 'Cause if not, what's the point?
Yeah, like, you're just wasting your time, kind of. I don't know.
Maybe we'll find something local around here.
Hopefully.
This is when you know that I really enjoy talking to you, because I don't even know how the fuck we got here. I don't even know how did this even happen?
Weekend
like,
in Texas.
Yeah. Oh yes, exactly. Because that's just crazy. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. My other question to that is, you know, you have been an individual that, even the fact of how we met, right? You know, you go to these conferences, and where did that birth from? You know, what was your first conference?
Good question. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you think.
Okay, so I got introduced to ET in college. I played basketball in college, and my freshman year, I had like a different coach every year because my athletic department was a hot mess, and hopefully they're still not. But anyways, we just had a different coach come in like every single year. It was really bad for the stability of the program. But my freshman year, the coach that I came in under was like a really solid guy. Like, I'm still connected with him to this day, and like, he's the type of guy that will like text you out of the blue to make sure you're good. Like, to this day, like, I graduated college in 2018. So I met this guy in 2014, and he'll still like text me out of the blue to make sure I'm good. Like, that's the kind of person he is. So I'll never forget freshman year, first game, he plays the Secret Success or Guru Story, whatever it's called. He played that in the locker room before we went out. And so that was my introduction to ET. I never heard of him before that. And then after that breakup that I talked about that really like messed me up, I started to focus on what I wanted for my life, and I realized that entrepreneurship was a part of that vision. And so I got plugged into ET because that was the person that resonated with me the most, the person that I felt like spoke to something inside of me. So I got plugged in with ET. I was listening to the podcast, and this was like 2017. And then I decided, like, you know, they're always talking about Breathe University, so let me get plugged in with BU. And so I did, and that's how we met. Yeah. And I've met so many amazing people through that community. My first conference though, I feel like I started going to conferences in 2018. So I'm not, which is after
was it his
college.
though? Was it ET's?
It wasn't.
It was a different one, right?
Actually, no, wait, maybe it was. So maybe it was 2017. No, wait, 2018? I don't know, but now that you say that, it was ET. That was my first conference, and I drove down to Baltimore to DMV, and it was the Stay Ready series. So that actually was, that was my first conference. It was ET. Wow. Inky was on stage, I think. Yeah, Inky Johnson was on stage, and David Shands, before he is who he is now, was on the stage. And I think Jeremy Anderson was on stage too. And so that was my first conference experience ever. And then after that, after I graduated, because I think I was still in school, I think that was like during the fall.
Yo, time's flying.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm getting old.
Nah, you're not. You're not. I'm just saying, because like even those years, like the year we went to the beach and we went out there and we did all that, was like 18.
Yeah, crazy. But so 2018, after I graduated college, I just knew I wanted to travel, and I was making good money as a nurse. I didn't have any responsibilities, and so I was able to get tickets to fly out to conferences. And most of the conferences that I started out going to were faith-based women conferences that I've been following, like Sarah Jakes Roberts or other people that I don't want to say their names because I don't follow them the same anymore. But people that I follow on social media, when they would throw events, I was like, I'm going to go. And that's how I started going to conferences. And then because of COVID and pregnancy, I had to take a break. So this is actually my first conference since then. It was good. I forgot what it's like to be in a room full of beautiful women. I'm like looking at everybody's hair and outfits and shoes and just the energy. So I'm already like trying to figure out which conferences that I'm going to go to.
What you're going to go to next, right?
Yeah, because that's how you meet people. That's how you learn things. That's how you travel, for me at least. So it is like part of my, I don't want to say routine, but it's part of what I do.
That's awesome. And that's because, I would love that. And actually, that's something I'm probably going to want to tap in more. My assistant, I have assistant Val from Reflections with Val. If you guys know, watch that podcast. She's been mentioning too about tapping more into that as well too. Because it's like, okay, you could do great on the internet, but then also we got to actually get out there more and stuff like that. For me, it's been tough. I've always wanted to go to them. But I was always the guy, like, if I can't do the VIP full package.
That's the season I'm in now.
That's where you're at.
But don't let that limit you.
I know.
Because there's, like, when I went to ET's conference, I didn't go VIP. But I just remember they called out, like, all the BU members to stand up. And I was, like, in the back, like, hey! And then with Sarah Jakes Roberts conference, the first year I went VIP. And it was great. The second year, I was like, I'm going to save a little money. I didn't go VIP. And I low-key regretted it. But my friend was able to get me into VIP anyways. And so this year I did go VIP. But what I appreciate about her conference is that she recognizes the people up in the balcony. Like, she literally took the microphone and her cameraman and went like up all these stairs to reach the people that were in the back. And even if you don't have the money for the VIP experience, it's still like a worthwhile investment into yourself. Because just to be in the room within the energy, and you don't know who you're sitting next to.
Right.
Like, that person that you're sitting next to in the back, that could be the person that's next up. Like, and 100%. You don't even know. So it's always nice to go VIP, of course, but don't let that stop you from getting in the room and getting what you need to get. Because you're still going to hear this. The audio is the same throughout, Exactly. And even I was cracking up talking to this girl from New York this weekend, because we were saying how we sit in VIP and we're in the front, but we're still looking at the screen so that we can see like the facial expression.
You know what it is? For me, it's the extra stuff. So it's not even all that. It's the like, you get to meet them, do the meet and greet, all that. Like yo, if I'm there in the building, but I get you. And you're 1,000% right, because, I'm really big on that, and also with you, I don't know if you ever really thought about it, but like some of those events, like the you going to that event probably changed your life in so many different ways that you probably could never even imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand these things. Like, I'm big on that too. Like, and when you start surrounding yourself around individuals that like-minded individuals, there's amazing things that can come from that. Like for me, something as silly as like, for a while, I used to always limit myself for going to events alone, because most of my life, in my early 20s and teens and stuff like that, you know, I was always like, I had friends and stuff, but I still always was very like alone in things, if that made any sense, you know, different, you know, things like we like I'm a movie guy. Like if it was up to me, I'd go to movies every week, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I was never like, now I'm that guy, I'll go alone, but I was never that person. Even concerts, you know, I would love to go to a concert, but because I have no one to take, you know, I wouldn't go. But then when I started being in like my mid 20s, you know, I was like, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna go alone. I don't give a shit. So I'd go to like my favorite artist concert, you know, and online, I met a dude, you know, shout out to Lee, and he's like super impactful now in my life, and there's been like multiple lanes in my life that one person, just because you said, he was in back of me in line and we were just kicking it about hip hop and just.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works.
Yeah, and it's just amazing what happens with that. But people don't see that. Like you said, people don't know that person behind you or whatever.
You never know. Like, oh my gosh, it's funny. Every conference I've gone to, I think, with the exception of like one or two, maybe I've always gone alone, and I don't think twice about it, because I don't know. Like, I'm there to get poured into. I'm not worried about if my friends are with me, and it works out just fine. Like, people take pictures of me, you know, I get online for the photo ops and I turn around, hey, can you take a picture of me?
Yeah.
I get my pictures taken, and I end up sitting next to people and we talk. Sometimes we connect, sometimes we don't. I've met so many people though from going to conferences, and then sometimes my friends or people that I know from like social media will happen to be in the building too. So definitely don't let the whole I don't want to be by myself thing like hold you back, because you don't even know. Like, my second year in Denver or my first year in Denver, I don't even remember. Actually, it had to be my first year, because this is the friend that got me into VIP. She's like a middle-aged white woman from Denver, Colorado. Like, in what world do we become friends? But to this day, like, I call her, I text her, like, she, whenever I'm in Colorado, she takes me out, we hang out, all because we sat next to each other in a conference. And it's crazy. Yeah. And then even like this weekend, I didn't really meet anybody like I have in the past, but I sat next to this one lady on a lunch break, and she happened to be a nurse and entrepreneur as well, and was able to give me some advice. And that was completely unplanned. That was just me being somewhere at a specific time next to a specific
place, right time.
Yeah. So you just never know. Like, don't block your blessings, as they say.
It took me a long time. Like I said, now I got to tap into that more of like, okay, just go, even if it's not the VIP. But then the first level when I was younger was not go. Like I said, I used to never go at all. You know, but now fuck that. Like, you know what, I go. But for you now too, because a big part of that is, you know, at the end of the day too, you know, you're a woman and you go to these things alone. Like, what can you speak on to that? Because there's probably a lot of women out there listening to this that maybe want to do the same thing, but maybe they don't feel safe. Maybe they, you know, all those different things. So like, what could you speak on about that aspect of it?
Yeah. So this time was a little bit different, because I actually brought my mom with me so I could bring my daughter. So I had a little, you know, I had a posse. Is that the right word? I don't even know.
Little crew?
Little crew. Yeah. Gang squad. I want to call my mom, my daughter, my squad.
Well, you're not in a squad. Maybe not. They're the squad. You know what I'm saying?
They are. Those are my hearts. But before I had my daughter and all of that, and I would just go to these places alone. Some of the things that I would do, if the conferences have a hotel block, I would look into that. And that way you find a lot of other people that are also conference goers in the hotel. And that way I was able to save money on like transportation. Cause I'm still not 25 yet. Almost less than a month away. Quarter of a century. Go. So, but I say that because rental cars would like hit me for the underage driver fees. So I never used to rent a car. So I would do like Uber and Lyft to get around. But I would stay at the hotels that were suggested by the event. And that way there was other people from the conference, and I was able to like, hey, are you going to the conference? Can I get in the car with you? Like, if it was a group of women or whatever, it's another way I met people. And I felt like safe because I know like we're like-minded. We're going to a certain type of conference. Like, you're not about to pull anything crazy. So that's one thing I would do. I don't know. Like, I think as a woman, you just always have to be vigilant. Like, I never had any issues in the airport by myself. I definitely try to stay like alert to what's going on around me.
Do you think that holds a lot of women back?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. But I think, I mean,
from going on their own, you know?
Yeah, like to a certain degree, like the fear is warranted and real, but also like don't let it hold you back, because like I said, like you don't know what's on the other side of you taking that risk. Like, you might meet new friends, everything. I mean, I feel like even the ride sharing apps have like built-in safety, and like just there's ways to go about it. Like it's not super super risky unless you're going. Also, I go to conferences that are like in like cities, I guess you could say. They're not like in the middle of like the country and like somewhere sketchy. Like I try to look up where I'm going before and the lay of the land. So like how far is it from the airport to the hotel and the hotel to the event and all that kind of stuff. So I try to do my homework on that, but I don't know, like I can't really, I'm not afraid to travel alone. So
well, exactly, that's why I wanted to like have them hear from you, because that there's probably some that are out there that are, you know what I'm saying? So like they have to hear that, you know what I mean? That you're not, when you go and you make these right precautions and you do these things, you dot your T's or cross your I's, whatever the fuck it is, you do all that, so.
Yeah. Or bring a friend.
Yeah. Like if not, just do it.
Like we said, like you don't have to go by yourself.
Either one, yeah.
Bless somebody, be like, hey, like, can you come to this event with me? I already paid for the room, whatever. Yep. Just like.
I've done that as well too. I paid for a ticket just because like sometimes either like whatever it was, like I know they would go. I'm like, oh look, we're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes people need that exposure first. Like you could have a friend that maybe you think is really gonna, like this is gonna be impactful for them or whatever. So sometimes you really just gotta like, nah, you can't wait for them to, to go. So, you can't be doing that all the time to people. You can't force someone to fucking drink the water,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, every once in a while, you can, and then kill two birds with one stone. You know
what else? Like through the communities that I've been in, like BU and social media connections I've made and things like that, and just relationships, I'm able to, I feel like wherever I go, I kind of know somebody or like have somebody nearby should anything happen. So like when I'm out in Denver, I know I got like a handful of people that I know out there. Like if I'm going to Florida. No,
she lives in these places, people. This is what we were talking about before we started recording. She doesn't live in Jersey. She tries to tell y'all this because she's like a low key.
Always New Jersey.
She's like a low key celebrity out here. So she doesn't want to tell us. She's like, yeah, I'm in Jersey all the time. But no, she lives in all these other places. She probably has like a place in Calabasas. Who knows where she is.
Speak that into existence.
Oh, no, dead ass. You know how we do here. It's 11:11.
Yeah, but I feel like I got people all over. So should anything ever pop off or whatever, I know I can like reach out to somebody too. Right. So
no, that's powerful. That's powerful too. And you build that in as your network through, you know what I mean? Like you said, so you feel a lot safer.
Yeah. Like the first time I saw ET in person, I happened to be in Atlanta for a conference, and then they just sent out like a last minute like, hey, ET's in town, we're doing breakfast here at this time. And I was like, oh, I gotta go. And I was able to reach out to somebody. They came and picked me up and dropped me back off to where I was staying.
That's fire.
It worked out. Yeah.
And
so
you're like,
this is why you need to make friends.
Network, yeah, but it's hard sometimes. I notice, and it's tough because sometimes, unless you put yourself into these things, like, I think the way me and you do is a little different, like a lot of times people don't know how much exposure matters. This is one thing I talk about a lot of times on the therapy without a degree, like, what you're exposed to really does matter. And the people you're around, like I've also learned this, from Grant Cardone. So like Grant Cardone does sales and marketing. I do sales and marketing. And, but he made kind of like valid point in like, he was like, where he does a lot of his prospecting. It's like sometimes in a gym. And he was like, it sounds silly and you may not even think about it, but usually these are people that are really trying to better their lives. Usually these people are trying to, for the most part, like, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to, do better and things like that. So I think like we need to just kind of be more focused on our surroundings and who we're being exposed to.
Yeah.
Like, because for you keep exposing yourself in these conferences with all these people, like that's just another thing. You go to a conference, like it doesn't even matter. I feel like I would say it matters, but like if you go to a
conferences
concert,
are not equal.
Yeah, they're all different. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, yo, you could just pick a conference. Like even if you're not educated on it, I think as long as you feel like it looks impactful, like I think it might help because you're gonna expose yourself around good, positive people. You know what I mean? Like it could be a business one, like. Even if people like sometimes there's ones that like I see there's free ones in the city all the time, and there's all these different lanes. So it's like if you don't maybe have, because like we have like ET or you have we have people that we'd be like, all right, well they host conferences, but one thing I just want to say to people is like, don't hold yourself back, don't limit yourself if you don't even know the establishment that's creating the conference. Like do your research, like do your research and stuff, but. Just go. I mean, why not? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and then you'll check it out. It might be for you. It might not be. It might not be for you. You know what I mean? I'd be like, you know what, that was cool. I wasn't really feeling their energy, but at least you gave it a shot to be in a room and be around some exposure of like positive energy and business minded people, or even if it's not business, because even if you're not just trying to do business, even if you're just trying to, you know, like growth, personal development, like it doesn't have to just be like entrepreneur stuff too. Because I be telling people lately, like, I'm like, do you feel like too, like now it's just all of a sudden everywhere it's like you got to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, kind of. And then I don't know, like part of that is I surround myself with entrepreneurs, but yeah, like everybody is an entrepreneur, and sometimes it makes me feel like, dang, like, am I special? Like,
you're extremely special. Never say that.
Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to talk negatively about anybody, because if that's what you're trying to do, then do it. I have a problem with like the people who are not really about what they're doing or like working towards it. Because like I just said this last night on Instagram Live. Like I stopped saying that I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. I'm just gonna start saying I am an entrepreneur. Yeah. And I don't really, you know, like I don't have my LLC just yet, and I don't have like my product set up just yet. It's all coming for sure. But I'm also not in the same space that I was in 2017 or 18 when I first decided to pursue entrepreneurship. And so I want to honor that and know that I'm doing the work and it's coming. So I know somebody could like look at me and be like, why does your Instagram say entrepreneur? Like, what are you doing? What are you offering? Like, you're not an entrepreneur. But, you know, I don't know. Like, I'm really big on our words and speaking things before they even happen. And I know that a lot of people are actually turning to entrepreneurship with the pandemic and all of that. It's a thing. It's
1,000%. And yo, I double back that 100%. Like there is no level of, you know, sometimes people have to feel validated. You know, they have to feel like I have dangerous. Yeah, like I have, you know, $5,000 coming out of my Shopify account, or if I only had 100, I can't call myself an entrepreneur. I can't call myself a speaker. Like there's those type of things, but it's like, you know, when's that mark? You know what I mean? There's never that tally. Like there's not that official tally of like, you know, this. So it's like, yo, if you feel like you're a fucking entrepreneur, you are. Like, yo, you could have a 9 to 5, but guess what? On the weekends, if you fucking selling keychains, yo, you an entrepreneur. Like obviously you're not to the level of like a fucking Eric Thomas or a Grant Cardone or something like that, but you still are an entrepreneur, and your journey is your journey.
Exactly. And also like I want to be able to look back, and because I know I'm doing the work and I know that I'm moving forward, so I want to be able to look back and say, yeah, like I was an entrepreneur back then and I have been doing this. Like I'm so excited that I can say that I've been doing my podcast since 2018. That's 3 years now. Yeah. I might have not been producing episodes every single week, but that first episode is from 2018, and so I can say that
growth.
Yeah.
And every time you do one too, you could always tell that level of growth within you. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes too, stuff like that, like, you know, you are an entrepreneur, so you create how frequent you want to do it. Mm-hmm. You don't need to do it every week. Yeah. You don't need, like, it's however the fuck you want to do it.
Like we were just talking about this, like seasons change, things shift. Like podcasting, it's great. It's a lot of fun, but it is a commitment. It is work. And so even the way that you've had to shift things with your podcast is the same way that like I was talking about Sarah Jakes Roberts before. So her podcast was originally like she would go live and then she would have YouTube up and Instagram and Facebook. I don't know, all the platforms. And then she would like talk about what she was talking about, and then she'd go to the comments for like feedback, and she would call the people in the comments her co-hosts. But like that, and she would go live every week and do that, but it just became very time consuming, and she also had to balance like being a wife and being a mom. So she had to like revamp her podcasting style. So now what she does is she pre-records her podcast, and she has chosen from her audience, she chooses one person to come up and co-host with her, and it's like pre-recorded, and that way she's able to manage. So I think that's how it goes. Like when I started my podcast, the goal was to go live every week with whatever's on my heart. But now in this season, that's not realistic. And so in the beginning, when you told me you need to batch record, I'm like, oh, but I don't want to.
You were like, yes, I did tell you. Yeah, but
I was like, it has to be from the heart every single week. And now I'm like, nah, like I need a batch record. Like,
yeah, she's like, I feel you.
It's fine. The people will be all right.
And even at that, you know, like with the whole like sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. But at least, you know, like, or you just get ahead of yourself. Like, that's why I've never been a fan of live, you know, because it's like, I'm a consistent dude. Like, if I tell myself it's going to be live, like it's gonna be live. You know what I mean? Like, so I
Mhm.
try to like be very careful. Like, I'm not that dude that's gonna say yes to a relationship just because I, like like if I'm gonna be committed, I'm gonna be committed.
Yeah.
You know. And the reason why I asked you too about that entrepreneurship question too is because I know you're around it a lot as well.
Yeah.
It's funny because I've actually been on the other side lately of like, yes, I'm around a lot of them, but I've kind of been more now like, I don't know what you would want to call it, but I've been really kind of telling people like, look, don't do it. And the reason why is because no one understands the effort. And I tell people that, and I it's not to be disrespectful, but I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, yes, I would, my always answer is do it. But I try to now just be very real with people, like very, very real with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yo, just because it may seem trendy now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and don't get me wrong, the freedom and all that is amazing too, but it's also very trendy, in a weird way. And just people, I just feel like just don't understand the hard work.
Yeah, it is a lot of hard work. And they say, I don't know the statistic, but most companies like fail after like 5 years or don't even make it to 5 years, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to let the statistics deter anybody. Like,
Exactly.
if you know that this is without a doubt something that you're passionate about, and passion shifts and changes, that's normal. But if you know this is something you're serious about and you're going to be persistent about it, then don't get caught up in what people are saying or doing, and just focus on yourself and being the best version of yourself so that you can produce. Because that's really what it's about, is shifting from like a consumer to a creator. And so you need to focus on yourself.
and I think when I really say that too, what I really mean is the people that just like want to go from, because like we just said, there's all levels of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
What I really mean is the people that are like, you know what, I don't want to work a 9 to 5 and I want to do this. There's those people. Because, obviously you could just always do both. But to me, it's always now the more the conversation of, you hear a lot of people that, okay, I don't want to do a 9 to 5 no more. And it's like, okay, but if that's what you're trying to replace, it is a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Like a lot of hard work. And I've just after dealing, like, I deal with so many different young entrepreneurs, like starting up and just people like all the fucking time on Clubhouse and, and that's another thing I want to thank you for.
I don't even be on it no more. But
nah, I've been slipping too, but it's amazing. And I have to start incorporating it more into my day. I was really on it like last winter.
Yeah,
but
same.
It's just like, I've been around a lot of them. And 98% of people don't understand the effort. 98% don't understand the effort. 2% get it. So it's just like, at the same time, like, it's weird because like it's very conflicting because I'm all for it. I'm all for entrepreneurship. But it's like at the same time, it's like, yo, these jobs did the work for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Walmart did its work.
Mm-hmm.
McDonald's did its work. Hospitals did their work. Wherever, we could just name all these jobs, They did all the work. They did the hard work. All you got to do, you get hired, show up and just do your thing.
Yeah.
So it's like at the end of the day, if, that's just, if you're not willing to do all that hard work, like, don't, like, people want to just leave their 9 to 5 and then they want to work. Like, I used to do Uber full time, right? And I did Uber full time and it was, you work your 40 hours and then I would do Uber and then people would like look at me like, oh, you're doing Uber 8 hours a day? And I was like, well, I was just working 8 hours a day doing my 9 to 5. Like, why would that change just because I'm in control of it? I still have to do my 8 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I still, you know what I mean? It's still hard work just because I'm in control. So I think that's what it is with a lot of like business. They think, okay, well, so I can have more time, but it just doesn't work like that. Like, you still need to put in that heavy duty effort.
Yeah. I guess I don't really get caught up on what people say. It's more about what they do. So you can say whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, entrepreneurship, I'm here for it. But then, like, what are you doing? Like, am I seeing, even if I don't see like anything overnight, like even over time, am I seeing things? Like, are you posting consistently on social media? Are you working on like putting your message out there, your brand out there? Are you attending the events, like the conferences? Like, are you laying the groundwork? Because that's the season that I'm in. Like, I don't have a full-fledged business yet, but I'm putting the structures in place so that things run smoothly. Like that's really what I've learned to value this past year is like systems and structures and organization, which used to be like curse words. I'm a flamingo, a flight attendant, a high eye, whatever you want to call it, from the disc assessment. Like my personality is all about like big fun, big energy. Let's get it done. Don't worry about the details. But I've been learning that the details matter. So I don't really get caught up in what people say. It's like, what are you doing? Like, are you showing up? And, you know, everybody's timeline is different. So if it takes you 10 years to manifest your dream, that's fine.
That was your process. Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
That was your journey.
Like time is going to weed out who's real and who's not. That's not my job.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just that.
Don't worry about it.
My thing is just sometimes I just don't think they know it.
They don't. But who's talking to them about it? Which is part of the issue. Like a lot of people in my circle that work with the youth, they want to build programs and classes to talk to people about the behind the scenes of entrepreneurship, because we just see the glamour on social media and it's so much more than that. So those conversations are definitely necessary because people just think like, oh, I'm going to get on Instagram and I'm going to make money. But they don't talk about like, okay, like, let's talk about the structure. So yeah, get on Instagram, but is your messaging clear? And like, what are your products exactly? And how are you directing people to those products? And who is your target audience? And do you have a business structure? And which business structure works for you best? And do you have your business bank account? And like all of that. Are you doing the real deal? Like not some bootleg, like, oh, cash at me. Like
yeah, no, you're right. Like I don't think they understand. And that's my only thing. Just because exactly what you said there. It's like they see the glamour, they see this, they see that, you know, but they don't know what comes. Like, you know, even if, you know, their journey, you know what I mean? Their journey 10 years, 5 years, whatever. But it's just like, you know, I would hate to see people that just drop everything to try to do something. And then they're like, oh shit. You know, it's like a big smack in the fucking face.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, yo, all right. Because, you know, sometimes things not for everybody. You know, sometimes, it's a 10-year journey, but sometimes that's just not for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so the only way you find out is by doing it. When you get in it and you're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
but that's that. How... Yeah, also too, because I think, you know, obviously this is the first time I'm talking with you live that you're a mom.
Yeah.
How is that?
I love motherhood. I always wanted to be a mom, and I am now.
Congratulations.
It's not exactly how I envisioned it to be, but it is what it is. It's my life, my story. And my daughter is a tremendous source of joy for me. Like she literally makes me smile and laugh every day because she's crazy. And
how old?
She's gonna be 18 months in December. So 1.5 years now of this mom thing, and I love it. And I'm really blessed to have a great support system in my family that allows me the freedom to be here with you right now, or to go to the gym like I do, and to travel, like, and just to take time to myself. Like I don't know how I would do it without them. So
yeah, that's a blessing. Yeah, that's awesome. Like, what's different for Ginger? What is that taught Ginger? What is that shifted for you? You know,
I think I take, like I've been seeing on social media, like I don't play about me anymore. Like I take myself a lot more seriously because it's not all about me anymore. Like I have to be able to show up for this little human at the end of the day, and like I don't want to be showing up like a hot mess because I don't know my value, and so I'm just out here scrolling social media all day and getting caught up in my feelings. I'm not invited to certain events, or this boy didn't text me back. Like I can't afford to show up like that in this season. Like I'm much more protective of my space and my energy because, like I said, I have to show up for her. And so it just made me, it's interesting. I think it's made me a little bit more cautious or like strategic, but in a good way. You know, and it's funny, we've been talking about like fear, overcoming fears, and my daughter is fearless, and I want to cultivate that in her. Like that's important to me. So
that's fire.
It's made me a better version of myself for sure.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's such a journey, and yeah, I know you're an amazing mom just by knowing you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I know the photos you put up of her is super, super dope. She does always look like she's mad happy. You know,
I only post her like to certain people.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I used to be like, nah, I'm not with this whole close friends business on Instagram. Like what I got to put out there, everybody can see. But I changed that, and so because people are crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I want to respect my daughter's presence on social media. Like, I don't know, maybe she gets older and she decides for herself, yeah, I don't want to really be out here on social media like that. And then, like, God forbid, like, I made her a whole account and, like, she has followers and she, like, she doesn't, you know? And then I think we can, like, motherhood in this age, we can be a little bit invasive, like, sharing a little bit too much. I don't want to be that mom.
Yeah.
So I only share her with certain people that I trust because, yeah, like, people literally will, like, screenshot her pictures and, like, send it to group chats and stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
just
of
like,
course.
what are you doing? So I post her to certain people. But I also just wanted to say, because I can't remember what we were talking about, but I wanted to say, as a single mom, it's really important for us, or even single dads too, to, like, pour into yourself first. Make sure you're good before you try to show up for your kid, because they're going to benefit more from seeing you working on yourself, from seeing you whole, from seeing you happy more than anything else. So definitely take time to work on you first, and they'll be all right. Like E.T. said one time, don't worry about the fruit when you know the tree is good. So I definitely, like, held on to that.
That's super impactful too, that because it's tough, yo. Like, it's fucking tough. Like, you know, I have a lot of friends that are parents and stuff like that too, and I know how it is, you know, like, yo, sometimes your only break is in the bathroom.
Not even.
Not even. So it's like, that's like a real shit, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't sometimes know how much of a struggle that could be, you know? Like, so I know that side of that, you know, it's how tough that is for a lot of people, you know, especially a lot of single moms out there and stuff too. Like, when do you have that time? You know what I'm saying? Like, when do you have that you time, you know? Like, and especially, it's like, especially when they're young like that and they're not in school yet, you know? Like, those first couple of years mentally has got to be really, really tough on a lot of single moms.
Yeah, for sure. I literally have been realizing, like, the only reason that I have not suffered, like, postpartum depression or anything like that is because of my family. Like, if I didn't have them in the picture, I don't think I would be doing so good. Just keep it real.
It's tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. So it's like, you know, even if you weren't, you know, you're only human at the end of the day, you know, and it's a powerful journey. But yeah, that's a blessing that, you know, you have that help and stuff too. But it's definitely been a journey. You know what I mean? All the different things. And especially with kids alone too, it's like, you know, they help you see things differently, like you said, from a different light. And,
for sure.
You know, how you start thinking, I bet you be in your head something like how you want to raise them, questioning yourself. Am I doing this right? Am I doing this wrong? You know what I mean? All these different variables, you know, like for me, like even with Jaylene, it's tough. You know what I mean? Like they get to the age, because they grow so fast that like now she's little, but like, you know, you be having conversations with her and all that. And then they get older. It's like, damn, okay, like, what do I tell them? What do I don't tell them? What do I, you know, like how you cultivate these certain conversations. It's so fucking interesting. And I agree with you too, like as far as the whole Instagram thing as well too. Because like I tell, like even me sometimes, like, I don't want to post it all just because how much I love her and shit. But then it's like, no, you know, you gotta just take up, you know, you gotta like do, you know, like you said, just exactly what you said. You just gotta do it like that sometimes.
Yeah, people you know you can trust.
Exactly. So that's a process. What do you got going on? Anything? Any conferences? Anything you're going to coming soon? Or
I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out my birthday plans. I'm trying to figure out a lot, but I don't have anything. I haven't committed to anything yet. I'm trying to go to 120 in Chicago next year, but that's like in September, so I have some time. But right now I'm really focused on finding my next business coach, because I want to get to the next level and I want that accountability and that insight from somebody who knows what they're doing. So that's kind of where my focus is at right now.
Word. Good shit, yo.
Thank you.
Keeping busy out here. Hopefully we get Ginger around more often. And again, thank you so much, yo, for that Clubhouse invite. For real, like, you don't understand. Yo, we all felt like crackheads out here looking for that damn invite.
Oh, it was crazy in the beginning.
I bet you were getting blown up out here.
Yeah.
Yo, but that app, yo, super, super beneficial. You know what I mean? Like, you said you're not really on it much anymore, right?
Yeah, maybe I'll get back on soon, but I'm trying to stay focused on what I already have on my plate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you could be on there for hours. I don't know if it's still like that, but in the beginning, I used to be on there for hours, especially waiting for my turn to come up on stage to speak. And next thing I know, like 2 hours gone by, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
What did I do?
I learned, like, because quickly I kind of saw that shit too. I was like, nah, I got to be smart with it. You know what I'm saying? So like thank God I have a second phone. So I would use one phone for Clubhouse, and then I would do everything else. So like I wouldn't be there. Like same thing you said, like just waiting. I wouldn't be there just like waiting. I was doing other things while, and then also same thing, like be very particular and very direct on, all right, what the fuck am I going in this room for? Or like, like if I'm gonna spend this hour on Clubhouse now, what am I doing? You know, this hour is going to be for maybe pitching the TV show I'm working on, or this hour is going to be to maybe get more social media clients, or this hour is for me to learn, you know, from X amount of, you know, businesses or whatever. So like being very, because those apps, like you can get sucked in, like I said, just listening to them talk, and it's like almost like podcasting, you know, but
it's good stuff, but do you really need to spend like 5 hours on there?
No.
And that's another key to this season of my life is just like intentionality and structure. Like I'm trying to shift my social media presence from like your average person who's on social media for like shits and giggles, and to like look at the latest gossip, and to like find some funny quotes or memes and like just BSing, to like, no, like when I'm on social media, I'm here to like encourage people and get back off.
Leave,
and I had to shift because part of the reason I had to get off of social media is because I realized like I've been on social media since middle school. Like 8th grade is when I started to like get on social media. I think it was Snapchat at the time or whatever. And then I got, or maybe it was Facebook first. I don't remember which came first. Maybe Facebook and then Snapchat. But either way, like I've been on social media since.
I'm getting old, guys.
I've been on social. I didn't get on. I wasn't like old enough for the MySpace wave.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't even give MySpace no love.
Nah, that was a little bit before me. But I jumped on the Facebook wave. And I realized that like I've just been on social media for all of these years and had all of these friends, and I've never really like cleaned it out. And after going through what I went through with like separation and like abuse and upcoming divorce, like I realized that not everybody was there supporting me like I thought they were, or not everybody was like on board with the vision. Like I'm very transparent with my life. I share my story so that I could help somebody else. But to some people, they're like, oh, you're sharing a little bit too much, or you know, like that's your business. You should keep that to yourself.
Deuces to them.
Yeah, and I had to like between them realizing that like people were talking about me and then going back to my daughter's father about it or whatever, and then the other side was like I saw people getting together and weren't inviting me, and I would like literally like cry by the time I logged off social media because I just felt like nobody wants to be with me. I had to shift.
Fuck them.
Whoa,
all right?
Whoa! I didn't say that.
Sorry. Just, you know, you're not giving Ginger good vibes. That's me talking. All right, that's Joe.
No, but I had to shift from like using social media like your everyday person to using social media like a business person on a mission and with a purpose. And yeah, it's all about creating boundaries. So
100%. Yeah. It is a balance in that, you know, like the whole posting, looking at stuff. What are we doing here? Unfortunately, I follow a lot of people because I just follow network and all that, and my Instagram don't even show me no more with my people.
These algorithms are so annoying.
So like I'm pretty good on that aspect of like not being on there scrolling because it doesn't show me. It does. I have to literally have notifications for my people.
I'm the type of person that like if I'm cool with you and your posts like don't happen to come up on my timeline for whatever reason, like sometimes I'll go through who's looking at my story or who's like consistently liking my posts, and I'll just like pop up on their page and just like spam like everything and then like leave because I want to show love to people. But yeah, like I try not to get caught up in scrolling, and sometimes they don't even show up. So
yeah, the Instagram be hating on there.
I don't even know. It's like all mind games. I can't even.
Do you feel like, so the last thing we're going to ask you is, do you feel like when you go, because you do these like social media hiatuses.
Yeah.
Do you feel it helps?
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay. Because I don't even remember how it all started. I think it just started with realizing, like I said, that I've never taken a break from this before. And like with anything, with healthy attachments or connection, whatever you want to use, with healthy things in your life, you should be able to step away if you need to, or step back. Like, even if you're in a relationship in real life, you should be able to step away from that person and do something else. Like, there shouldn't be anything in your life that you are so attached to like that. And I felt like I was attached to social media. And especially now that we get our insights about how many hours we're spending, I was just like, I've never taken a break before, so let me try this. And I liked it, and it was helpful. And then, like I said, with me going through my life changes, again, I needed to step away to preserve my mental health. And then in that time over this past year where I was away, I accomplished so much. Not only did I have my mental reset, but I've also been able to like start my master's degree and finish a certificate program at Cornell in women's entrepreneurship and travel. Like, I went to Florida twice this year. I went to California once. Now I went to Texas. People didn't even know I did all that traveling. And it was nice to move low key and also just be present, like travel and not be like, hey, let me take a picture here. You know, just take a billion pictures and I'll delete them off my phone later so I can find that one picture. Like, it was so freeing to just live and be present. And so I think that those breaks are healthy. But the reality is, if you're trying to be out here as a business person or entrepreneur, you do need some type of social media presence. Unless your network is like that, like, yeah, you do need to be out here a little bit. So then you have to learn how to have those boundaries in place and intentional posting. You're not posting so that you can, you know, I don't know, get a bunch of likes or like, you're just not, like, your posting is very specific and with a purpose. And
exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
That's kind of how I've gotten, because I kind of had to like force myself into that, because I have so many accounts that I run, right? So like I've legitimately had to learn how to post and leave, and leave, and like, I've never been that guy with any of my brands that I do marketing for. I never promised them this. I never, you know, even for my own stuff, I'm never the try to go viral guy or try to get a lot of likes.
Yeah, no.
I genuinely, I just post. I want to be consistent, and I want to post just the things that I want to post.
Yeah,
you know. And at the end of the day, it's like, just post it and leave.
Yeah.
Post it and leave, and then I'll get back to it. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you be having different accounts like that. Like I said, it forces you.
Imagine.
Because it's like, I got to do this one, but then I got to leave and I got to go to this one. I got to leave, I got to go to this one.
Yeah.
So you don't got the time to really even kind of do that scrolling. And it just teaches you like, all right, there. Sometimes if anyone's ever is struggling with that, I usually recommend like habit stacking with social media. And it can kind of like get you into that like rut of like a nice flow, right? So like habit stacking will be like, for example, I walk my dog twice a day, sometimes 3 times. When I walk my dog is when I'm doing my social media work. I'm posting or I'm doing my other networking and DMs or whatever. And then at night, same thing. So like those are my 2 times that I'm like dedicated to the business side of the aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So at least they're done. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to worry about that. And then in reality, like I don't need to be on social media for any other hours of the day.
Yeah.
You know, because I just did my 2 times when I walked my dog. And that was it. And then sometimes I'll even add the 3rd time, like when I first wake up. Even though people always trash me, they're like not being on your phone when you first wake up and all that. But look, for me, it works. Like I wake up, I do it, and then I don't gotta stress it. You know, at the end of the day, everyone has their methods. You know, maybe
you
do it at a certain time. For you. Yeah, but it's like that way. If you set those, like you said, those kind of that structure to it, it will not be like you're just running around. Oh, what am I gonna post? I didn't post yet. And then it's like you get into that rut. But like you set like a little thing, habit stack. Think of something that you already have a habit with. Like I already have a habit and a consistency of walking my dog. So I'm just gonna take now something else and then throw it on top of that. And then if there's something else I want to do, like for me, I listen to audiobooks. I'll listen to an audiobook. So like I'm walking my dog, listening to an audiobook, and get my posting done all at the same time. 3 different things at once. Mm-hmm. You know, and some people are very against multitasking and shit like that. But
yeah, I just learned that recently because I multitask without thinking about it.
Yeah,
but some people
are very against it. Yeah. Some people can't do it, and some people are just like, oh no, you got to focus on one thing at one time. And I'm like, look, if I'm walking my dog, I can listen to an audiobook at the same time. I need to be so. They're like, you need to be so focused
present with
on
your
that
dog.
one thing, and it's just like, hey, look, man, I got shit to do.
Yeah,
I got shit to do. There's places to be. Nah.
Yeah. Right now, I am trying to post every day on my social media to build that consistency, but I also have released myself from the pressure to post every day. So if a day comes up and I don't have anything to give, I'm not just gonna post something to post something. But yeah, and there are systems and apps that you can use to take that pressure or that load off of you. So it's all about finding what works for you. But I mean, I'm not planning on going off of social media again anytime soon. But if it happens, it happens, you know? And like I said, like I'm really big on like the people who matter have my phone number. And that's how you learn.
Yeah, no,
that's how you learn who really like matters. Cause I have certain guys that be in my DMs all the time. Every time I post a picture, oh, you're so beautiful, heart eyes, all that crap. But let me get off social media. I don't hear from them. And some of them have my number. So
yeah, you're right. Nah.
Yeah, take a break. Take a break from social media. I'm a big advocate for that.
See who's really around. See who really cares.
Yeah, literally.
No, you're right. Maybe I'll do it one day. For like a day. Nah. Like
20, 2 days.
40, and that's a big day. 48 hour no social media for Joe. All accounts archived.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Why not?
Yeah. Maybe. So much of my business is funneled through there.
Yeah.
Like all of it.
But you know what they say, like when you're creating your business and stuff, like, is it in a place where if something happened to you, you could step away and things would still run?
No, not yet.
See?
I know.
You got to get to that point.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
Not yet. No. No. If I go, I don't know.
Everything's gonna be
nah, because I don't want to say it, because I definitely have people that like support me and all that, but then it's still not. You know what I mean? Like I definitely have help.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, but it's definitely not there yet. So we're in plans.
Yeah.
Give me a year and a half.
Because rest and breaks are healthy. Like they're literally necessary.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I don't make you feel bad.
No, you're right. Dude, everyone's like, I take a break. I'm like, a break?
What is
like that mean, right? One day.
Put a date to it. That's what my coaches tell me.
I've been thinking about getting away too soon, because we're both winter babies, right?
Yes.
January 3rd is my birthday. I'm thinking about maybe going away a little bit. So maybe.
Yeah.
Do a little quick trip, 3 days get away.
I'm here for it. I'm like traveling, like breaks from social media, like bettering your life. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Nah, she's right. She's all here for it. But this was dope, yo. We gotta get you on again.
Yeah.
And tell them a little about, what you have going. The Get Up 10 podcast. Where can they find that?
Yeah, so I have my podcast Get Up 10 on all the major podcast platforms. So I'm actually getting ready to switch my host site for that. So I'm not sure how that will affect what platforms I'm on, but I should be on the big ones. I know Apple is like really the main one. I think I'm on Spotify too. Yeah, so I have Get Up 10 podcast. And I was telling you, I haven't recorded recently, but I definitely will get back to it.
There's all fire on there.
Like I said, I've been doing it for 3 years. So there's literally like hours. I should add up how many hours of content I have there. I have hours worth of content, and I talk about all kinds of things from like relationships to like resilience to how to stay focused. And I interview people and talk about their life stories and some of the stuff that they've had to overcome. So that's all there on Get Up 10 podcast. I'm on Instagram at Ginger.
I'm gonna have to get on there one day, maybe.
Yeah. No cursing though.
Oh, yes, I got you.
My podcast is
I got you. I'll bleep myself. I'll pinch myself every time I'm about to.
I'm on Instagram at Ginger N Fit, which everybody's always like, oh, okay, fit. And I'm like, no, it's literally like the first 3 letters of my last name. It's not even about that. But I do happen to be fitnessy, but no, it's just my last name. And then what else? I'm on Facebook, Ginger Fitchett. And I'm on LinkedIn, Ginger Fitchett, because I'm trying to, network with professionals. And professionals are on LinkedIn. That's where I was hiding on my time off of Instagram and Facebook. I was on LinkedIn, learning the ropes.
Let me find out.
That's where the money makers are.
No, you're right. I've been trying to I go on there and I'm just like,
it's different.
But I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, you have to adjust to it.
How do you network with people?
So you can connect with people, like I guess friend requests, but you can like personalize them and send them a little letter, which is always nice. And then it's similar. Like you can do word posts. I think the post with a picture or a video attached to them tends to do a little bit better. They do have hashtags, but I don't know how much. I don't think they're like as popular as Instagram hashtags, but you can throw little hashtags on your post. But it's definitely a much more professional atmosphere. Like people do post personal things or like things related to mental health, but it is really more of a business space. So if you are if you're intentional about your posting, if you have something of value to add, LinkedIn is a great space to be on. And I got to shout out YB.
Okay.
Yes, Robert Youngblood, YB. He is the LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his title. He has a whole title. Like LinkedIn is what he does.
Oh, that's his bag.
Yeah. So even to connect with somebody like him, that'll help you show you the ropes to get you successful on LinkedIn. But anyways, yeah. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I might be getting on YouTube a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. So that's again Ginger Fitchett, and then I do have a little bit of a website up now. I love saying that.
Oh right? Shit! Let's go.
growth, because I didn't have a website last time. So yeah, gingerfitchett.com, and there you can connect with me. You can like contact me through there. I think the links to my social media should be on there as well. And if you have an event, you want to do a podcast with me, you want to have me on a panel, you want to book me to speak at an event, you can do that there too.
Okay. Yo, that's awesome, yo.
Thank you.
Fire.
I'm so proud of myself.
Yo, I'm proud of you too, yo. That's fire. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. We actually just Jersey Media. I was gonna announce it as well. We just relaunched our website. So we had it, and I revamped the whole entire thing. So it's jersey-media.com, and yeah, it's looking pretty brand new, yo. I just finished that up. So
nice.
We out here. This was super dope. Everyone, go follow Ginger. All right, and yeah, go listen to Get Up 10 podcast because she's super dope. And don't stop what you're doing.
Thank
you. Know what I'm saying? Like you probably have no idea the amount of people that you inspire. You know?
I don't. Literally.
and you know, that's my last thing on the whole social media thing. You at least keeping this, you don't have to be active in the social media, but your content is so impactful and so inspiring sometimes that you could be inspiring multiple people that you have no idea. Like no idea. Yeah. So at the same time, it's a balance of, yes, you know what I'm saying? You need your time and all that. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you don't even know the things you're doing for other people.
It's crazy because you're the second person to tell me that today. So obviously that's something I needed to hear.
Nah, for real. Like I'm dead ass. Like, you know, we want to do those things and we want to pull back from social media. Yes. Okay. But maybe if you're going to go about it, and this is not me telling you, it's to just people in general, you know, like maybe just still leave it up. Or maybe, okay, you know what, instead of going ghost, maybe posting once a week or something like, yo, there's people that, you know, I'm going to end this with this story, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we don't realize and we forget sometimes how impactful we are to other people without ever them acknowledging it or ever you knowing. So I was walking in the park about a year ago, and I was just walking, I think with Princess or something, and there was a couple there, and they were playing soccer with their kid and shit, and they were there. It was beautiful. And for me, you know, I've always been the very same goals as you, like you said in the very beginning. So to me, that was beautiful. You know, the fact of just them sitting there in the park playing with their kid. They looked happy. It doesn't even matter how they look. It just, to me, that was a moment. That was like, wow, that's goals. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just so beautiful. And that inspired me, you know, and that made my day. And I'll never forget that moment. In that same moment, they could have been having the worst day of their lives.
Yeah.
They could have been depressed. They could have been feeling suicidal. They could have been feeling heartbroken. But then maybe they just got done arguing. Maybe they were argue after that park. Who the fuck knows? Right. But in that moment, they changed, you know, they made my day, and they made, you know, everything for me in that moment. So sometimes you just never know. And obviously I never approached them. I never said anything to them. You know, the guy that inspired therapy without a degree, I wish I could find him one day, because it was based off of a conversation in an Uber ride. Wow. And he changed my entire life.
Wow. That's awesome.
And he has no idea.
Maybe one day you'll get the opportunity.
Yeah. But it's like you never know sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's much, and that's one thing I learned from ET too, is well, it's much greater than us. It's much greater. You know what I'm saying? Like our mission and our destiny and our purpose and our, you know, all that stuff is so much greater. So that's all I gotta say on that.
Thank you.
Yes. But this has been fun.
Yes.
Jersey Media, Joe Fucarino, Ginger, we out of here. Peace.